Today we're going to be talking about Job. If you have a split second, I suggest that you go and get your Bible so we can get to this. I will be using a Girl Life Application Bible, the Study Bible, so that everyone can understand, so it can reach many ages and not just one age group. Everybody doesn't understand King James Version, but whatever floats your boat, they all say just about the same words, just different synonyms. Okay. So the topic I'm going to use for today is the Lord giveth and the Lord can take it away. Can we say that together? The Lord giveth and the Lord can take it away. I know this topic is very clear to everyone with everything that's at hand right now, but stay encouraged because the Lord giveth and He can take it away. So right now, we're going to talk about Job. You got your Bible yet? I'm trying to wait on you. Hopefully you got it by now. I'm going to talk to you about Job from chapters 1 to about 4. It's not going to be too long with you at all. Just something to encourage your spirit. So I know you're wondering, who in the world is Job? Job was a man of integrity, a man of faith, a man that loved God dearly. And he treated people with respect. He fed the hungry, he provided jobs. He was the richest man in his city, where he lived. He lived in Uz. This happened around 1800 BC. Abraham was still on the scene. And God allowed things to happen to Job to show the true definition of faith. So as we go into the Word of God today, I want you to see that Job had faith through it all. Job had faith. And some of you are wondering, what is faith? Faith is when you believe in God when you can't even see how He's going to make a way. When you don't have any proof or evidence that God is going to make a way, you still trust Him in the midst of it all. That is faith. And Job showed that. So I'm going to tell you about Job. Job had 7 sons, 3 daughters, 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, and 500 female donkeys. He had a lot. The richest man in the city. He had children galore. He had plenty full of everything. God had given it to him. That's such a blessing. We seem to take things for granted, and we think that life is just supposed to be smooth all the time. And it doesn't. And here you're going to see that life isn't always smooth. For Job, it wasn't smooth. So in chapter 1, you'll see in the book of Job that Satan approaches God and they have a conversation. And God asks Satan, what are you doing? What do you want, basically? And he says, I've been seeking to and fro, seeing who I may devour. And so chapter 1 verses 7 states, where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan. Satan answered the Lord, I have been patrolling the earth, watching everything that's going on. Verse 8, the Lord asked Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? He is the finest man in all of the earth. He is blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears God and stays away from evil. Now, Satan replies to the Lord and says, yes, but Job has good reason to fear God. You have always put a wall of protection around him and his home and his property. You have made him prosper in everything he does. Look how rich he is. But reach out and take everything he has. He will surely curse you to your face. All right, you may test him, God says. Do whatever you want with everything he possesses, but don't harm him physically. So Satan left his presence. How many of you know that God is saying, have you considered my servant? Have you considered me? Have you considered them? And this time God is saying, have you considered that you're about to be tested? So I want you to know that even though you're going through a test, God is still with you. God was still with Job right here in this moment. And in this time and in this season, he's still with him. Verse 13 says, one day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting at the oldest brother's house, a messenger arrived at Job's home with this news. Your oxen were plowing, and with donkeys feeding beside them, when the Sabeans raided us. They stole all the animals and killed all the farm hands. I am the only one who escaped to tell you. While he was speaking, another messenger arrived with this news. The fire of God has fallen from heaven and burned up your sheep and all your shepherds. I'm the only one who escaped to tell you. In the midst of saying that, a third messenger arose and said, 3 bands of Chaldean raiders have stolen your camels and killed your servants. I'm the only one who survived and escaped to tell you. While he was speaking, another messenger arrived with the news. Your sons and daughters were feasting in their oldest brother's home. Suddenly, a powerful wind swept in from the wilderness and hit the house on all sides. The house collapsed, and all your children are dead. I'm the only one who escaped to tell you. Job stood up and tore his robe in grief. Job is sad right now. He has lost everything. Stop and think about it. If you're a child, you lost your mom and your daddy. Then you turned around and lost your car, your house. Or if you're a parent, you lost every child that you have. In one day, in the middle of somebody telling you you lost your child, you don't got a home. The children's house is gone. Your car is gone. Everything that you possess is gone. I want you to stop and put yourself in Job's shoes. In the midst of it all, verse 20 says, Job stood up and tore his robe in grief. Then he shaved his head and fell to the ground to worship. He said, I came naked from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. In all of this, Job did not sin by blaming God. I want you to know that Job is a man of integrity, a man of faith. How many would say that in the midst of our trials, we would stop and say, God, I thank you for what I'm going through? How many of us will say, Lord, in the midst of these tears that I'm crying right now, Lord, I still thank you. I still praise you. You're still worthy. How many of you will still worship and raise your hands and say, God, you're still wonderful? Well, Job did. Job was the type of man that even though he couldn't see his way out, he had no evidence, he had nothing to say to God, you finna make a way. He still held on. Your child is healed when you hold on. Will you still worship when you don't feel like it? Will you still press your way when you can't see, oh God, when you can't see tomorrow? Job did it, so can you. I can tell you a little bit about it because when I lost my grandmother, I didn't see my way, but I still prayed and I still worship. I can talk about being hungry because I remember Mama didn't always have a job. We didn't always know things were going to be all right, but we still pressed our way and we still prayed. I can tell you a thing or two about trials, but I want you to know that just because you're going through, just because you can't see your way don't mean that there isn't a way. Come on, somebody. And so Job replies and he says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord giveth and the Lord can take it away. So we take everyday actions for granted. We take school, we take the stores, we take shopping, we take everything for granted. We take our jobs for granted without even realizing God can take that away from us, just like He did Job. Be careful of what you take for granted, because when it's time to go through the storm, will you be able to stand? When it's time to say, Lord, here am I, test my faith, will you be able to stand? So that's his first test. He still worships God in that trial. Now, chapter 2, Satan goes back to God and says, well, you took his possession, but you haven't touched him. He surely will curse your face if you touch his body. So let's go to verse 4 in chapter 2. Satan replied to the Lord, skin for skin. A man will give up everything he has to save his life. But reach out and take away his health, and he will surely curse your face. God says, all right, do with him as you please. The Lord said to Satan, but spare his life. So Satan left the Lord's presence and struck Job with terrible boils from his head to his feet. Job's boils were so bad on him, Job scraped his skin with a piece of broken pottery as he sat among the ashes. This is verse 8 of chapter 2. Verse 9 says, his wife said to him, are you still trying to maintain your integrity? Curse God and die. But Job replied, you talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad? People will tell you in the midst of your trials, you need to throw in the towel. Look, you don't need to go and worship. Look, you need to stay home. You need to do that. But that's a trick of the enemy. God wants you to still trust him, still worship him in the midst of your trials, still bring it to him in the midst of it all. Don't listen to the naysayers. Hold on to your faith, because Job did. We can see right now he's still a man of faith. He has boils all over his body. He's just lost everything he owned, all over his body. And he replies to his wife and said, should we accept only good things from God and never anything bad? Come on. Everything's good and dandy all the time. God didn't have everything good. He was lied on. He was beat for our iniquities. By his stripes we are healed. He went through. He hung on the cross for us. He died and rose for us. He went through things he shouldn't have went through. He didn't deserve it, but he went through it so that we may have everlasting life. Why shouldn't you go through some things? Why shouldn't your day be sad sometimes? God went through it. You have to go through tests to have a testimony, to find out who he is, to know who he is. You gotta go through. Job went through. So I ask you again, why should you always accept good things? Why can't you have a bad day here and there? Right here we see in verse 13, then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and nights. His friends have came over by this time. In verse 13 is saying that this was taking place for 7 days and 7 nights. People won't tell you that trials can be lengthy. Trials don't have to be 30 minutes and it's over. Trials can be months, days, years. But however long it is, God will be with you in the midst of it all. However long it takes for your faith to be tested, God will stay with you. Job shows right here that 7 days and 7 nights he still had his faith. He still was trusting God. And God will send friends to be with you when you're going through your trials. God knows exactly what you need and when you need it. No one said a word to Job, for they saw that he was suffering with too much grief. Nobody said a word. God will just send somebody to comfort you. Sometimes a hug is all you need. Sometimes somebody holding your hand is all you need. God will allow people to come into your lives for that very reason. Now, chapter 3, Job is in the midst of his trial, and he ain't feeling it. He's not feeling it at all right now. Verse 1 says, at last Job spoke. He cursed the day of his birth. He said, let the day of my birth be erased in the night I was conceived. Let the day be turned to darkness. Let it be lost even to God on high. And let no light shine on it. Let the darkness and utter gloom claim the day for its own. Right now, Job is bearing so much pain. He's in so much grief. People won't tell you that your trials can be hard. It's going to be days you want to cry, you want to throw in the towel. It's going to be days when you don't even see the day of light. It's going to be days where it's pitiful. Job is experiencing that right now. And we're going to skip down to verse 26 in chapter 3. He says, I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest. Only troubles come. Right now, Job does not have not a lick of peace, not a lick of joy, not an ounce of happiness. He can't see his way out. He has nothing, no children, no nothing. Put yourself in his position. Where are you in God right now? Are you happy right now? Do you still have some peace in mind? Job didn't have not an ounce of peace. But I'm here to tell you that God can be that peace for you. God will be with you when you don't have an ounce of peace or an ounce of joy. He still will walk with you. He still will hold your hand. He still will wrap his loving arms around you. So in chapter 4, we see his friends are talking to him. And he's in verse 6 says in chapter 4, doesn't your reverence for God give you confidence? Doesn't your life of integrity give you hope? That's my question for you today. Doesn't your life of integrity give you hope? His friends are asking him this question. That's a good question. Do you still have hope that God can turn everything around? Do you still have hope that in the midst of it all, in the midst of it all, that God can be who he said he is? He can be your provider. He can be your healer. He can be your way maker in the midst of your trial, in the midst of your suffering. Job is suffering right now. People are suffering right now, and they don't have any hope. But where is your hope? Where is your faith? Take a moment and think about it. Do you still believe that God can make a way out of no way? I'm going to stop right there. I just want to talk to you right now. In Job, we see that he's a man of faith. He's suffering right now. He's at his lowest point, and his friend is asking him, where is your faith? Where's your hope? Because he's getting weary. God will send people to ask you, hold on to your faith. Hold on to your hope. Because you still got something on the inside. You still got something left. You still got fight left in you. Keep trusting him. This is only a test. And so when I heard those words, I'm talking about me now. Don't come back to work until further notice, and you don't know how your bills are going to be paid. And my response was, God will make a way. God will provide. Will you still have that faith? Even though you don't have any evidence that God's going to make a way, can you still speak it as though? You can speak things with your mouth into existence in the midst of your trial. God is going to make a way. Can you still wear a smile when you don't even see a way? Can you still have faith, oh God, when you can't hear? Not even a moment. You so numb, you don't know when the next hug or breath you're going to ever feel. Can you still trust God? And right now, Job is in that place. I was once in that place. I know that God can break you through. God gives you everything that you have. But if he take it away, will you be able to stand? If he takes his hand and snatches the covers off you, will you be able to stand? And I want to tell you, you can stand if you hold on to your faith. Faith moves God. Faith is when you don't see nothing, not an ounce of evidence, that he's going to move that ocean for you. He's going to move that mountain for you. You still trust him. You still walk on that water. Those crazy shallow, those crazy shallow rivers and waters and streams. You walk over it and trust him to pull you over it. He'll do it for you. I've watched him do it for you. He do it for me. He did it for me so many times. I'm gonna tell you about this. I didn't know how I was gonna pay a bill and nothing, but I didn't even go to a job. And God allowed somebody to give me a check and they paid the bill. I want you to know that faith moves God. Faith is something that you must have to withstand the storm. And when you, oh God, when you find that faith in your heart and in your spirit, You'll see God move in a mighty way. He'll hold your hand through your trials. He'll wipe every tear away. While you're down there praying to Him, tell Him all about it. And believe that God is going to bring you through. No matter how long it is, keep trusting Him. God will make a way. Just like He made a way for Job. Y'all be blessed in the name of Jesus.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember, our prayer lines are always open and we are praying for you. For prayer, call 662-251-0277 or 662-497-3754. If you would like to sow into this ministry, please feel free to send donations by Cash App. Our cash tag is $preacher111. For debit and credit card donations by phone, please call 662-251-0277 or 662-570-4561. We look forward to fellowshipping with you again real soon. God bless.